Hey there, I'm Mikel, and in the last two videos we created the first and middle stage of our starters. In this one, we will make the final evolutions. Tried not to make it so obvious in the previous videos, but the starters for this region had an overall theme. And the theme was different kinds of entertainment, and the kind of entertainment of each line will be more apparent on their final evolution. So let's get started. For Kitri's last evolution, I had a lot of inspiration. I knew I wanted it to be a bear from the beginning, so I took inspiration from the spectacled bear, which is a Latin American species of bear. And when I was thinking of type matchups for the last evolutions, I wanted Arboret to be a fighting type Pokemon. So it seemed perfect to also take inspiration from Luchadores, which is the type of entertainment for this evolution line. And another thing that inspired me while I was drawing this one was the bear paw succulents. And still drawing from Latin American flora, like from the previous evolution, I gave them the little acerola fruits on their cape and I made their boots out of dragon fruit, or as we call it in Brazil, pitaya. And this is Arboret. I have to say I'm much happier with this design than with the previous one that I did. But let me know your thoughts. Arboret, the forest bear Pokemon. With its powerful punches, this Pokemon helps and protects smaller Pokemon from predators. Arboret is usually found in forests that are high up in the mountains. This Pokemon grow a thick cape of leaves in their back. This cape also produces little red sweet fruits. I think this next one was one of the hardest for me to come up with a coherent design. I was firstly inspired by the Minotaur from Greek mythology when I was designing it, and later come up with the idea for this whole line to be inspired by chefs and cooks, which was the entertainment theme for this line, food. And I think that was what really made it so hard. I wanted to make it obvious that it was inspired by the chef's wardrobe, but not make the Pokemon wear it. And I think I did a good job at that. The other big inspiration for this Pokemon was the Brazilian boy Bumba. But I'll be honest, in the end I didn't really manage to take a lot from it. And the theme of that myth didn't really fit well with the original ideas for this Pokemon. So I ended up just going with the Minotaur one. Another thing that inspired me was the Minotaur design for Asterius at the Hades games. So I had to put a little something in my design, and that's where their horns are blue at the end. I always loved that little detail. One other thing I don't think I managed to do really well was the steel type on this one. But overall I think this is a solid design that gets the idea across. This is a cooking Minotaur. And I ended up liking this one too. Flamethar, the Flame Call Pokemon. Flamethar is a very friendly Pokemon species, but when threatened, this Pokemon will hit its horns and roofs to defend itself. Although they are rarely seen in the wild, they can be found in herds of Colenten and Cohiton. Their loyalty to their trainer is as durable as steel. Like the others for this evolution line, I had already redesigned this one before I decided to record the process. But I felt like I could still push the pose a little bit to make it more interesting than the original pose. The main inspiration for this Pokemon was those classical music conductors. When I firstly designed them, it was right after I designed Flamethar, so I felt like it was easier to put the ideas and inspiration on paper. And because I wanted it to be a fairy type as well, I decided to give them those conductor sticks that I use, since it would also look like a magical wand, and I felt like that would mix well with the fairy type. Another thing I should have mentioned in the previous videos is that the duck species that inspired this evolution line was the pato mergulhão, a Brazilian species of duck. And that's the reason they all have those little feathers on their heads. And since the theme for this one was music, I decided to show its powers in the final illustration, which is the power to create musical attack with its bubbles. This ended up being one of my favorite designs from all of the starters. But what do you guys think? Conductor, the musical bird Pokemon. With its magical music, Conductor helps and guides the young Drizzle on a beautifully composed symphony. This strong Pokemon can create powerful water attacks with its wand and will always sing a lovely tune for the losing opponent. And these are the last evolutions for the starters. Let me know what you think of them. And if you managed to figure out the theme I had for them even before the final evolutions. I am always looking to improve my skills as an artist, and your guys' feedback is always of great help. So let me know what you liked and what you didn't like about these designs, and I'm not so sure what we'll create next. I'm thinking we could either create the design for the Pokemon Professor or the evolutionary line for the Route 1 bug, but this one's for the next video. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any new videos. See you at the next one!